Good morning, students. We'll start the meeting. This is mechatronics lecture. So we are going to start at this is lecture number 1. This subject is in your second semester syllabus, and we are going to see unit number 1, Introduction to Sensors and Actuators. Okay. The lecture In this lecture, we are going to see introduction to mechatronics and its application, measurement characteristics, just like statics and dynamic characteristic. So the objective of this particular lecture will be, at the end of this lecture, we all should be able to understand application of mechatronics in industry. And second thing, that is measurement characteristic in mechatronic systems, because we all know that all mechanical systems will run on electronics devices. So what are the applications in actual industry that we are going to see, and we are going to see what are the measurement characteristics in this mechatronic system. Some static characteristics are there, some dynamic characteristics we are going to study. Now, what is mechatronics? We all know that only mechanical systems are outdated now. In each and every system, we are going to see some computerized systems, some electrical systems, and some control systems. So, all together will combine to make mechatronic system. Okay, so there will be computers, there will be control system, there will be electronics, and there will be mechanical involved in mechatronics. And we have to study interdisciplinary course as a mechatronics. Now, in mechatronic systems, mechanical systems, electronics, and electrical systems, and microcontroller come into picture, and they work symbiotically. The word mechatronics is composed of mecha from mechanics and tronics from electronics. In other words, technologies and developed products will be incorporating electronics more and more into mechanisms, intimately and organically, and making it impossible to tell whether one end and whether other begins. So, mechanical and electronics, whether it will be mechanical is ending and electronics starting, we cannot define. That are completely inbuilt in each other. So this is one definition of mechatronics. Now, according to W. Bolton, it is integration of electronics, control engineering, and mechanical engineering. It is a synergetic integration of sensors, actuators, signal conditioning, power electronics, decision and control algorithms, computer hardware, software to manage complexity, uncertainty, and communication in engineered systems. So we have to remember only one thing, that is, it is a synergetic combination of all electronics, computer, and other systems, the control systems. Now, some key elements of mechatronics. The mechanical system, there will be actuator and sensors. Sorry. Input signal conditioning and interfacing. There will be analog to digital converter, digital to analog converter, filters, amplifiers, etc. Digital control architecture, just like logic circuits, microcontrollers, PLCs, SCADA, etc. And output signal conditioning system, just like digital to again analog conversion, amplifiers, power transition. And the last will be your graphical display, on which you are going to see the LEDs or LCD display will be there, on which you are going to see the actual mechanism performance. Basic elements. Mechanical system will be the first element. Then there will be sensors and actuators which are connected with mechanical system. Then some amplifying electronic systems will be there. Data acquisition systems will be there, and control system will be there. So this is a total typical mechatronic system, which is combination of sensors, actuators, amplifiers, data acquisition system, and control system microcontrollers. Now applications, applications are wide number of applications in actual industry. That is, in case of automation, in case of robotics, we need mechatronic system. In case of servo mechanics, sensing and control systems, automotive engineering systems, just like if we are um, watching the new versions of cars, there are totally electronic based systems, including fuel injection to your control of machine or control of car, computer machine control such as computer driven machines, CNC, etc. Industrial goods, consumer products, medical mechatronics, structural dynamic system, transportation, everywhere there is application of mechatronics. Diagnostics, in diagnostics also there is mechatronics involved right now. Computer aided and integrated manufacturing systems, computer aided design systems, everywhere. Engineering, manufacturing systems, packaging, microcontroller, mobile applications, you are going to see mechatronics everywhere. So mechatronics is very important branch of mechanical as well as electronics. Now, these are some picturized applications in robotics where we are going to use it. In case of defense systems, we are going to use this. This is a computerized CNC machine. In case of vehicles, sensors are there. Wheel sensors, control module, modular units, everywhere we are going to use mechatronics and real practice. This is mechatronic system schematic diagram. Mechatronic system with DC motor. In case of this, DC motor can be controlled by a PID controller with the help of some actuators and sensors. Then some characteristics. Characteristics means its properties. The measurement systems might have some characteristics, some properties are there. So that properties are known as static and dynamic characteristics. The system characteristics are to be known to choose an instrument that most suited to particular measurement application. Now, if you want to measure speed of any vehicle, you have to choose one particular sensor system, and for that purpose you should have knowledge of its static and dynamic characteristic. So if you are going to use a LVDT for displacement calculation, you have to understand what are the static and dynamic characteristic of that particular instrument. So in case of static characteristic, the criteria, that is performance criteria for the measurement of quantities that remain constant, vary only quite slowly. The static characteristics are like that. Dynamic characteristic, the relationship between the system input and output when the measured quantity is varying rapidly. So dynamic means it changes with respect to time, with respect to speed, then that characteristic is known as a dynamic characteristic. Now in details, we are going to see static characteristic. Determination of static characteristic is mostly done by calibration. We have to do calibration of that particular object. Now steps are like this. Identify all the possible inputs of the instrument. Decide which of the input will be significant in your application. Determine the apparatus and method to control all significant inputs over the desired range. And by varying one input and holding the other inputs constant, develop the sensor input output relation. So these are the steps of calibration. Simply, I'll again explain you. Identify all possible inputs of the instrument. Suppose I want to check the vehicle speed. Now, vehicle speed is depending on acceleration as well as fuel injection as well as other parameters just like application of brake, etc. Then what I'm going to do? I'm going to identify all possible inputs of the instrument of that speed element. Now we have to decide which input will be significant in your application. In this case, acceleration will be significant to increase the speed. So in that case, I have to do by varying only acceleration. I have to hold all the other inputs are constant, and I can manage a curve like this. As acceleration increases, speed increases. This is physical input and output will be speed. So this is called just like a calibration of that particular thing. This is example of calibration of pressure gauge sensor. As pressure increases, its pressure output will be increasing. So this is one simple case of static characteristic calibration. Now, in case of static performance, what we are going to, you can say, learn. The static characteristics of instrument are related to the steady state response. The relationship between output and input when the input does not change or the input is changing at slow rate. So static characteristic is related to steady state response, just like accuracy is there, precision, range and span is there. These are some static characteristic of the mechatronics instrument. Linearity, sensitivity, environmental effect, hysteresis, resolution, repeatability, and death space. So that we are going to learn in details right now. Accuracy. Accuracy is the capacity of measuring instrument to give results to close to the true value of the measured quantity. Now, what is mean by true value? True value is nothing but the actual output we need. The accuracy is related to the bias of set of measurements. Now, accuracy is measured by absolute and relative errors. So, what is absolute error? It is result minus true value. So, it is inaccuracy. Relative error is equal to, relative error is equal to absolute error divided by true value. So, it is the capacity of measuring instrument to give results close to true value. If it is really true, then your error will be very less. So error should be minimized in case of actual mechatronics instrument. Now discrimination is the minimal change of the input necessary to produce a detectable change of an output. Discrimination is also known as resolution. So it is a minimal change of the input necessary to produce detectable change of the output. So resolution is nothing but if I am changing pressure by fraction of millibar, then if there is change in the actual instrument value. So this is called as resolution, which is we can say minimum amount of the that particular scale. When the increment is from 0, it is called as threshold. It is called threshold. Now precision. The capacity of a measuring instrument to give the same reading when the repetitively measuring the same quantity under the same prescribed conditions. Precision implies agreement between successive readings, not closeness to the true value. Now there are two terms, precision and accuracy. Now just now we have seen the accuracy value, but what is precision? Precisely if the same value is coming again and again with that instrument, then it is called as instrument is precise, but it is not accurate. We are going to see in next slide what is precision, what is accuracy, because every time precision and accuracy are not the same. Precision is not necessary, but it is not it is necessary but not sufficient condition for accuracy. Because what happens, You will see. I'll just show you. This is shooting dart example. This particular thing is precise. Every reading is coming at a particular value here only. You can see this. These values are coming at one place only. These are precisely measured by one instrument, but they are not accurate. They are not accurate. But in this case, you will see this is required. This particular point is required, and the values are you can say distorted. But if you will see their mean value, the mean value lies here and it is near to the accurate value. So precision and accuracy, this is called as precision and this is called as accuracy. Okay, so again we'll see precision is necessary but not sufficient condition for accuracy. So precision is necessary in the instrument. We need precise readings, but the accuracy is somewhat different from precision. Two terms closely related to precision. One is repeatability. The precision is taken when there is repeatability in the particular reading, and reproducibility, that is the same reading is reproduced at a very long interval of time, performed by different operators or with different instruments or within different laboratories. So if there is change in time, change in operator, change in instrument and change in laboratory, then also if the same reading is coming, then it is called as a reproducible reading. Getting? Types of errors are just like systematic errors. So systematic errors are interfering or modifying variables, that is temperature. Suppose the temperature is changing, due to that if there is change in the reading, then it is called as systematic error. Drift, that is changes in chemical structure or mechanical stresses. Sometimes if you might have seen that in case of compound pendulum, or sorry, in case of the spring gauge, there is mechanical stress involved in spring, and that's why the actual reading changes from the true value. So it is called as a drift. Drift comes due to the mechanical stress system or chemical structure system error, chemical error or mechanical stress error. The measurement process changes the measurand, that is loading errors. In case of loading, if it is you can say sudden loading, in that case there is change in measurand. The transmission process changes the signal, that is transmission process can change the signal. In case of gearing system is we have used gearing system to transmit the change or transmit the signal. In this case, if the gear is having some backlash, then your reading will be changed. Sometimes human errors are there, that is observer has parallax error. So if somebody is watching from upper side and somebody is watching from lower side, there will be change in the reading, and that is called as a systematic kind of reading. It can be corrected with the compensation method. So what is this compensation method? The compensation method is nothing but a feedback or filtering method. So we have to take feedback of that particular system, or we have to filter the signals that will eliminate your error. The random error is nothing but it is called as noise. So what is noise? Noise is nothing but unwanted information. Okay, the signal that carries no information is called as noise. The random errors, white noise, follow a Gaussian distribution. We don't have to go in details of this, but you should know. Sometimes randomness comes due to repeatability of measurement itself, environmental noise, that is background noise, or transmission noise. And these are two types of errors that we have studied right now. Now, some measurement characteristic we are going to see, that is input range. What is input range? The maximum minimum value of the physical variable that can be measured. Okay, so maximum and minimum value of the physical variable. If I'm going to calculate this temperature with thermometer, what range I can measure, that is minus 40 Fahrenheit to plus 100 Fahrenheit. So this is your regular thermometer's input range. Same way we can define output range, the maximum value or minimum value of the output. Sensitivity, the slope of the calibration curve. The slope of calibration curve is nothing but it is the ratio of input upon output. Sensitivity related errors are dead bands that we are going to see. Saturation and dead bands we are going to see in the next lectures. Linearity. Linearity is nothing but the closeness of the calibration curve to specified straight line. That is theoretical behavior of least squares fit. Theoretical behavior or least square fit. The closeness of calibration curve to specified straight line. Now, how this straight line is specified? This is specified with the help of calibrated instrument. So, if the calibration curve and the specified calibrated instrument curve both are same, then you can say that the instrument is linearly behaving. Monotonicity. A monotonic curve is one in which dependent variable always increases or decreases as the independent variable increases. It is simple. Dependent variable always increases or decreases as the independent variable increases. And the last one, that is hysteresis, the difference between two output values that correspond to the same input depending on the trajectory followed by the sensor. We'll see hysteresis curve, because what happens sometimes if I am going to change the input from 0 to 100 and again I'm going to change the input from 100 to 0, there will be two output curves. The same curve will not be repeated. So this is called as hysteresis loop. This hysteresis loop is due to the eddy current or the magnetization of that particular instrument, and due to which what happens, once it will follow this path and when it is returning it will follow a different path, which is called as a hysteresis curve in this case. I'm going to share this video with you on YouTube channel, so don't worry about if something is not understood or something is not you can say you you are not got any point, etc. The sensitivity refers to its ability to detect change in the measured quantity. When we say the particular instrument is sensitive, in COVID situation, you might have used the oximeter, etc. You might be saying that oximeter changes its value from 99.99 to 99.70, 60, 40, 50, etc. So that is the sensitivity of that instrument, and it refers to its ability to detect changes in the measured quantity. So as measured quantity in oxygen level in your body changes, the sensitivity of that instrument changes. It can be defined as slope of calibration curve if the input-output relationship is linear. Input-output relationship is linear. The output quantity, okay, maybe we are going to run out of the time. So I'll take this part and your next, okay, 9 minutes. No problem. 9 minutes remaining. The output quantity must be taken as the actual physical output, and the sensitivity of instrument refers to true quantity that is being measured. The sensitivity of instrument to interfering and modifying input can also be of interest. Now threshold. The threshold is minimum value of the input below which no output is detected. So this is threshold value. Suppose some input is required to get output, and for that purpose what we need, suppose from this to this, from this point to this point, there is input required. This input I have given, but there is no change in output at all. So this is called as a threshold value of input. This particular point will be threshold value of the input. It defines the smallest measurable input starting from the rest. From 0 to this point, we need to give some input to detect some output. So this is called as threshold value. The resolution is minimum increment of input starting from non-zero, below which no output is detected. So this is called as resolution of that instrument. This is repeatability and precision. We have seen repeatability firstly. The measure of how well the output returns to the given value when the same precise input is applied several times. So if same input has been given, and if I am getting the same output, then it will be called as a repeatability of that instrument. And precision is how exactly the and reproducibility as known value measured. So precision and repeatability are almost the same. We are going to use these two formulas to calculate repeatability. We are going to see numericals in next lecture. So in that case, we are going to see what is the repeatability of that particular instrument. Okay. I'm going to skip some part because we are running out of time. We'll take that part in next lecture, and I'll upload this video in your YouTube channel shortly, maybe today itself. We'll meet again in next lecture. Thank you very much till the time. Sachin Thodkar is signing out. Thank you.